It's an Odyssey. Over 166,000 miles. Countless road trips. And Honda's J35 V6 has seen it all. From misfires to oil leaks, I have wrestled this engine back to life. But in 2025, with Honda recalling 295,000 pilots and Acuras for stalling risks, I've got a question. Is Honda still a reliable brand, and can this V6 still go the distance? Whether you are eyeing a used minivan or a brand new Pilot, I'm peeling back the hood on the J35's reliability, its tech, its quirks, and the maintenance that's kept mine rolling. My story is proof. This engine is a fighter, but you've got to know its secrets. Let's dig in. The J35 V6 has been the heart of countless Honda and Acura models. Odyssey, Pilot, Accord, MDX, TL, you name it, for decades. What makes it so special? It starts with the lightweight yet robust aluminum block and superior heat dissipation. The forged steel crankshaft provides smooth, quiet, and powerful performance. And let's not forget VTEC. It optimizes fuel efficiency at low speeds and delivers a power surge when you need it, with a seamless transition you barely notice. These elements combine to make the J35 a durable, punchy, and long-lasting engine, a testament to Honda's engineering. You will find variations like the J35A, J35Z, and the Extreme's J35Y with iVTEC. But here is the twist. Brilliance comes with baggage. Let's talk about variable cylinder management, or VCM, promised efficiency by deactivating cylinders, sometimes 3 cylinders, 1, 2, 3 in the back, or 2 cylinders number 3 and number 4. Fewer cylinders in use, less fuel, better economy. Genius, right? Until oil burned, engine misfired. An imbalance caused vibration and noise, premature failure of engine mounts. This was particularly problematic in early J35A and J35Z variants. The 2-cylinder deactivation was eventually tweaked to 3-cylinder only deactivation in the J35Y, showing some improvement. In the latest models, like the 2023 Pilot's J35Y8, we see VCM4, which uses depressurized valve tappets to seal cylinders 1 to 3 with an air spring effect, moving away from the old vacuum method. Honda claims this reduces oil pour past the rings, and early feedback is promising. Crucially, even with these improvements, oil dilution remains a concern, especially with direct injection and VCM. This means your oil can become contaminated with fuel, reducing its lubricating properties. This is why a 5,000-mile or 6-month oil change interval is absolutely crucial for J35 engines. Don't push it to Honda's recommended 10,000 miles. It's a recipe for premature engine failure. VCM's stop-start nature can still lead to misfires, especially as mileage climbs past 100,000 miles. Carbon buildup and oil residue can disrupt combustion, wearing cylinders and rings. Plus, those on-off cycles stress the active control mounts, which often crack between 80,000 and 120,000 miles, resulting in repair bills of hundreds to thousands. VTEC solenoids can also leak, dousing the alternator in oil, hundreds to fix. And with the J35Y, direct injection introduces carbon buildup on intake valves, a problem to watch after 100,000 miles. Let's look at my 2010 Odyssey with the J35A7, which faced oil burning from VCM. I will share a few tools I found helpful in maintaining this engine and will post product links in the description. No affiliation, but we take a small cut when you purchase from there. Appreciate it. My J35A7 at 80K was a mess. Misfires, leaks, oil guzzling. I serviced it with new spark plugs, a new PCV valve, and new valve cover gaskets, both front and rear, all OE ports. But the oil leak didn't stop until I replaced the VTEC solenoid gaskets, which Honda didn't sell separately, and it took more than one aftermarket gasket to stop the leak. By then, oil has started to drip on the exhaust, burning off and ruining air quality inside the car. It was too late to salvage the alternator soaked in oil. The main culprit of the leak was a VTEC solenoid, often misdiagnosed as the valve cover gasket. Though valve cover gaskets, especially in the front, do get brittle over time and may need replacing past 100,000 miles. At that point, valve lash clearances might tighten or loosen and need adjustment per Honda's recommendations. It's a solid valve joint and needs manual adjustment every 100,000 miles or so. Note, the latest J35Y engine on 2016 or later models switched to hydraulic lash adjusters that automatically compensate for valve clearance and do not require regular service. On the J35A, it makes sense to remove the valve covers to adjust the valves, change cover gaskets, and replace spark plug seals. At 100K, Bank 1's valve joint was pristine. Bank 2, cooked red from the fight. Oil leak, tarnished color. Why is everything worse in the front? A simple reason: VCM put a heavier load on the front. The timing belt is also must replace at 100,000 miles from an interference engine. If the belt breaks, it likely breaks the engine too. When you are in there, replace the water pump, tensioner, pulleys, and the serpentine belt. Stick with OE ports from Honda or trusted OE manufacturers like Aishin, Mitsubishi, who know the precise specification. Thought Gates makes good belts too and is the OE belt maker for GM models. The last time I tried Gates on the Honda, it was just a quarter-inch shorter, but almost derailed my entire project for the 100K service. OE makers are not created equal, and you should know which OE ports come from which manufacturers because only they know the exact design and specification. To sidestep VCM issues, consider a VCM muzzler. A $25 no VC more on eBay would do the trick, but there are other options with automatic adjustment based on the climate. This simple mod will disable VCM2 on J35A and J35Z models. However, there hasn't been an easy solution on J35Y except to trigger a check engine light for VCM4 not to be activated. I finally disabled VCM at around 135,000 miles when oil consumption was out of control. Over 3 quarts of oil loss between oil changes. Honda said it's normal to have a quart of oil burn every 1,000 miles. I had to disagree and turned it off. Now without VCM, it still burns oil, but the consumption rate immediately went down to less than a quart every 5,000 miles. I check the oil level regularly, but no longer have to worry about it constantly. Now 30,000 miles later, at 166,000 miles, how does a J35 look inside? Let's inspect the cylinders with this adjustable borescope, flexible probe, sharp camera, 15% off link below. Cylinders 1, 2, 3, the rear, and 4, 5, 6 in the front show clean walls, no scratches. The piston crowns all have some carbon buildup, but it's minor. When reinstalling spark plugs, remember not to over-tighten them. On new spark plugs, do not use anti-seize as they are usually pre-greased already. For precision, I use a torque wrench, like this Thorstone 1/4-inch torque wrench. 17 Nm max, just under 18 Nm spec for spark plugs. It's ideal for tight spaces and low torque applications. Before inserting the coil packs, give them some care with just a little bit of dielectric grease. 10 Nm for coil pack fasteners. Again, after 135K miles with VCM plus 30K miles without it, let's review some live data about engine health with a basic OBD2 scanner or interface. The engine runs quiet, transmission smooth. One misfire total in cylinders number 5 and 6 in 30 minutes. Fuel trims show healthy readings. Bank 1 long-term fuel trim at 5.5, Bank 2 at 7%. Short-term fuel trims settle at 0 at idle. Excellent up to 15 years. When reading fuel trims, add long-term and short-term values for each bank. A total within 10% isn't perfect, but indicates the engine is still healthy. A positive value means the computer is adjusting by adding more fuel to a detected lean condition with too much air in the mix. And a negative value is a rich condition where the ECU is cutting on fuel. Rev to 2500 RPM or drive. Short-term fuel trims spike briefly, around 10% positive, occasionally 20 to 30%, then stabilizes at 3% and back to 0 at idle. A slight lean trend, maybe a small vacuum leak. I tested the map sensor too. Floor the gas pedal to the wide open throttle on the highway. OBD2 show calculated engine load near 100%. Above 95 is ideal. Below 80% means you need to clean or replace the map sensor, which I did at 100,000 miles, and it's still healthy 66K later. Just be cautious though with this wide open throttle test. Pick a quiet highway or expressway with light traffic. Safety is number 1. For OBD2, any basic scanner with Torque Pro or OBD Fusion does the trick. Or grab one of those more advanced yet budget-friendly eDiag or launch products. But basic works here. So, is the J35 V6 worth considering? Without a doubt. Whether it's a used Odyssey, a new Pilot, MDX, or anything in between, here is the playbook. Hunt for solid service records and steer clear of oil burning dragons or noisy chatters. Disable VCM if it's still on active duty. Keep up with oil changes, timing belts, and valve adjustments. And this engine will roar past 200,000 miles. What makes it a gem? Honda engines are a DIYer's dream. Under the hood, the J35 layout is refreshingly straightforward. Roomy access, no crazy contortions needed, ports, a breeze to source. OE stuff like spark plugs, gaskets, and belts won't break the bank. And you can get them either from Honda or OE manufacturers like NGK, Denso, or Aisin. Those specialty ports like active control mounts can cost over $1,200 each. Once you disable VCM, those mounts will last a long, long time. If your budget tight, remanufactured or quality aftermarket alternators, power steering pumps, even starters work just fine. I have swapped mine for less than half the OE cost with no regrets. But never go cheap on specialty ports, including serpentine belts where perfect fitment is required. Tread carefully with Honda's service advice. Burning a quart of oil every 1,000 miles isn't normal. Lifetime transmission fluid is a myth. And 10,000-mile oil changes? Take that with a huge grain of salt. Instead, change it every 5,000 miles or 6 months using 0W20 or 5W20 synthetic oil. Join and fill the transmission fluid every 30K and refresh every fluid regularly. Coolant, brakes, steering, you name it. For the latest models with direct injection and other technologies designed to boost fuel economy, carbon buildup, and oil dilution are major concerns. But keeping your oil refreshed and your engine well lubricated will keep your J35 Honda purring at 200,000 miles and going. As for the latest recall, a software update will likely fix it for good. Maintain it right, and the J35 will reward you with years of reliable service and many 1,000-mile adventures. If Professor can do it, you can do it. God bless your journey. See you next time. Peace.